Good day, everyone. Jazz Gonzo here. Another episode of What's Next, your daily dose as always. This is the weekend edition. So I hope you guys enjoy your weekend, whether at work or play. Well, tragedy struck yesterday in Japan, where former President Shinzo Abe was killed while giving a speech. Yes, he was shot to death. And we're going to take a look at that and also how the media reacted to this tragedy. Let's take a look. This comes out of Breitbart. Japan ex-Prime Minister Shinzo Abe dies from gunshot wounds. Japan's international news service, NHK, reported early Friday that former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe had died. He was shot to death during a speech on Friday in the city of Nara, near Kyoto. He was shot on the street of Nara City, western Japan, around 11:30 a.m. yesterday. The former leader was campaigning for the upcoming upper house election. He was 67. Sources from Abe's NDP party were cited as the basis for the report. Shinzo Abe was transported to the hospital at 12:20 p.m. He was in a state of cardiac arrest upon arrival. Resuscitation was administered. However, unfortunately, he died at the hospital at 5:03 p.m., said Professor Hidetada Fukushima at Nara Medical University Hospital, according to the AFP. The younger brother of former Japan Minister Shinzo Abe told reporters Tokyo Friday early morning that former leader was receiving blood transfusion in the hospital as his condition remained very grave. Of course, we're going back in the timeline. Nobio Kishi, who serves as defense minister for Japan government, added that the attack is an excusable act of no matter the motivations of the assailant. Abe, Japan's longest-serving prime minister, was shot in the neck and chest and had suffered significant internal bleeding, as Breitbart News reported. This comes out of Breitbart also. CBS Mornings, remember, polarizing figure Shinzo Abe's death. He was a right-wing nationalist. Yes, let's call him Japan's version of Trump. CBS Mornings on Friday remembered former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe following his assassination while on the campaign trail at the age of 67. According to CBS reporter Elizabeth Palmer, Abe was a polarizing figure, a right-wing nationalist and conservative. God forbid. She advised, though, although Abe's political opinions were controversial, the country was united in shock and sympathy at the news of his death, because that is what a nation does. It would be hard to overstate just how much of a shock this is to the normally non-violent Japan, Palmer stated. People are also feeling really traumatized. Abe was Japan's longest-serving prime minister when he left office in 2020 due to illness. A polarizing figure, he was a right-wing nationalist and conservative and a fierce supporter of Japan's military. He fought to amend the country's pacifist constitution in the face of the rising threat from China. Gee, why would you do that? While in office, Abe met former President Donald Trump several times to reaffirm Japan's military and trade alliances with the U.S. His political opinions were controversial, but the country is united in shock and sympathy over the news of his death. Palmer advised that a gun attack in the country with such strong gun laws has hit the people, and they have feeling shaking. Now we go from that to this. Exclusive, Breitbart. Donald Trump says he is considering attending Shinzo Abe's funeral in Japan, and I hope he does. Former President Donald Trump told Breitbart News exclusively here that he's considering attending the funeral of assassinated former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, and that he's communicating with Abe's family about the matter. Quote, "We're going to see how it goes," Trump said when asked about Abe's funeral. "We're talking to the family. We love the family. His wife is a phenomenal woman. He is so loved in Japan, I can imagine that it's going to be an incredible celebration of life. He was just very special. Every aspect of the man was special. You know that he was the first person I saw. Do you remember he came early? He came right after the election. He was the first person I saw, but we had a special relationship. We're going to see about that. We're talking about that right now." Trump's comments came during an exclusive interview backstage after an event he hosted with the GOP nominees for U.S. Senate and the governor in Nevada, former Attorney General Adam Lexit and County Clerk Sheriff Joe Lombardo. Trump spoke for close to an hour in a packed ballroom at the Treasure Island Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas Strip Friday night after Lombardo and several other national law enforcement personnel hosted a law and order focused panel. Trump and Abe were the closest of friends during Trump's time in the White House and Abe's time as prime minister. Perhaps there was no other world leader to whom Trump was close, and the two shared dozens of phone calls, several visits to each other's countries, and even played golf several times together. Abe, as Trump said, was one of the first foreign leaders to recognize his win after he shocked the world in 2016 and defeated former Secretary of State Hillary Haig, an important step for Trump when he took the White House in early 2017. Quote, he was a great man. He was a great leader. He loved his country. He loved his country. We did incredible deals together. We made a new deal with Japan. Japan had a one-sided deal. He brought back some fairness because we had just had a terrible group of trade deals with Japan. We negotiated it, but he was a real friend of mine. He was a real he really, was a distinguished, incredible person. What a disaster that is for the world. He was a true world leader and everybody respected him. We'd go to the G7 and everybody respected Shinzo. That this can happen is just horrible. The loss of Abe definitely leaves a hole in Indo-Pacific, an important geopolitical theater in which the U.S. is competing with China, an incredibly powerful Chinese Communist Party, the Zhou Chai Cons, to counter a rising China with a strong Japan and a strong U.S.-Japan relationship. That Trump told Breitbart that he's not worried about Japan will become weak because he said its current leaders came to power with Abe's support. My thoughts, quickly. One, to the family of Shinzo Abe. Our thoughts and prayers of millions of Americans in this country and millions around the world. To die tragically like this while giving a political speech because he was running again at 67. Sometimes you get the itch after leaving and you just want to jump back into the game. But with that, I think that for the media to mistreat him within hours of calling him a right-wing extremist and pretty much a nut job, a Japanese version of Trump, of course, is meant as an insult. Then again, are you surprised by what the media does? I mean, this is the same media that has pushed the Russian hoax garbage with Trump for the last 6 years, and also the January 6th dumpster fire. So we have that. But for a piece of garbage in Japan to make a homemade gun, yes, because Japan has one of the strictest, if not the strictest, of any Western nation regarding its gun control laws, and also you have to jump through every known hoop known to man to actually get your hands on one outside of law enforcement. But Shinzo Abe took a country that was a pacifist nation, that was a weak nation 20 plus years ago, and turned it into a military and political power in less than 2 decades. And of course, China feared Japan. And still does. I think Shinzo Abe's influence in the political circles in parliament and also in the higher ups in Japan's government are going to be there for many, many years to come. So I wholeheartedly agree with Donald Trump that Japan's not going to fall back. They're not going to fall back. But we mourn the death of a great world leader. And like I said, I didn't know much about him until reading upon him like the last few hours last night and of course this morning. But like I said, he was a good man from what I read, and he will be missed. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.